Hello and welcome to the Mission-Led Content, Business and Life podcast with me, Lisa Barry, founder of Mission-Led Content Academy, and my guest today introducing the beautiful, the intelligent, the unschooling queen.
Oh, thank
Is
you.
Heidi Steel. Hi, Heidi.
Hi,
Lovely
Lisa.
If you wanted people to know something about you, if they were just coming across you for the first time, you thought, what is it you want them to know before they go away about your business, about your mission, about your love of life, and the thing that
Quite like
quintessential.
unschooling queen. I think I'm just
Quite
going
like
to
it. I think
adopt
that does
that.
that
That
cover
was
it?
really good.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
good,
So we have that's everything you need to know about
everything.
Heidi.
Queen. No.
All there.
What would I like people to know? Definitely unschooling. That's been a huge part of my life for about 15 years now. I've got 4 children who are 17, 15, 12 and 9. So by day, I spend my time with them, all my time with them. They're home educated. They always have been. And I was going to say by night. By night, I sleep. I'm a sleeper. You should know that. I mean, that's the thing.
By night, you're an unschooling queen, which involves lots of rest.
Yeah. But around the edges of that, I'm really passionate about helping other families know that unschooling is possible and what it looks like and how they can do it. And that's my
I love
jam.
that when we were talking recently, because we're working together at the moment, and we were talking recently, and I was like, what is the thing you want them to know? And you were like, that it can be done, that it's possible. And that in itself, like, a lot of people just don't understand the possibilities. They don't understand their options, and they don't understand what a difference it would make just by being able to make
the difference. And the difference I see with, well, not only it, like I obviously have reaped the benefits in my own life and my children, and I just love it, and I just think it's such a fabulous way to live. But since stepping into working with other families as well, the transformation that I see in other, like in families as a whole, and not just the children who a lot of the time have had very negative experiences at school. It's like a whole family transformation, and it's really it's such a lovely thing to watch. It's really
fantastic. Absolutely. You have me won over straight away. I'm an unschooler who desperately misses unschooling. So, oh my God, do I know everything you say is so true. Okay, right. We are here today because we're not actually here technically to talk about unschooling or to talk about business or to talk about anything that you might think you might find on a business podcast. We're here to talk about Inside Out too. Because we both loved it.
It's so exciting.
Because I saw it the day it came out, and I laughed and I cried all the way through very loudly, much to the disgust of some of the children I was taking. And it was brilliant. And then you said you were going, and I was like, I cannot wait to hear what you've got to say about it. And then before I gave you a chance, I decided we had to do it in a podcast form. So apart from the fact that I know you loved it.
I did love it. I took my younger two. I took my younger two with me and one of their friends.
That's actually
my 12 and my 9. Yeah.
Yeah. So
and a bit like you, I laughed, I cried, which doesn't really say a lot about films. I cry a lot. Like I'm a proper crier at films.
But there's crying and there's sobbing. There was a point in this film that I actually had to take stock of the fact, Lisa, you're in a public place. Like, you can't, like, sometimes when I sob, it can be quite like, oh, and I was like, I don't want to do that
here. I just had a moment where I realized that my eyes were just leaking. Like, I wasn't consciously aware that I was crying, but I was just sat there and like tears were just streaming down my face. I'm
so curious, because this was then the question that we had was, at what were the points that made you emotional? So what we agreed to do was to pick out a few clips each and just take it in turns, and we may have picked the same clips. We literally don't know. We have not, like, this is nothing pre-planned with this, apart from you pick your clips, I'll pick mine, we'll take it in turns, and we'll just see what comes up. From an unschooling perspective, like obviously I'm all about messaging and what messaging we're sharing. From an unschooling perspective, you just give us like a sort of the top line, the overview of why Inside Out felt like something that really touched in terms of like your messaging and what you want to communicate to people.
Are we going to tell people that this is going to be full of spoilers?
Yes, no, that's a really good point. Do not watch this.
Don't keep listening, because there's going to be some clips and there's going to be some.
I'm going to put that right at the top of the description. I'm going to say big reveals,
but they might not be very big. This one isn't very big. It's obviously a film about, if people haven't seen it, about emotions. It's primarily around emotional development, and I'm all about child development and how that happens naturally. And this is about when Joy turns 13, and she
Riley turns 13. Yeah.
Why did I say Joy? Well, obviously I know why. Riley turns 13.
Well, Joy is 13 too, because Joy is also, she was there from the beginning.
For the birth, yeah. So it's all about when, young people coming into adolescence, which is really normal, and lots of normal things happen. But from an unschooling perspective, the whole message of the film, I think, is about this idea that we have this spectrum of emotions, and they're all actually vital and really important. And ignoring certain ones or sticking them suppressing them and bottling them up.
We're bottled up emotions.
We're bottled up emotions. It explores the consequences of what that might be, and we accept our children and ourselves and the full spectrum of emotions that encompasses our human experience.
That's such a beautiful way of putting it. And it's really interesting because as you're speaking, like our businesses are very different, like who we help, how we help them. But actually, this is what I find with a lot of my clients, that the core messages of like what I want to speak to people about and what they want to speak to people about is very similar. It's just almost like in a different package. It's wrapped slightly differently. But for me, when I'm talking to business owners, they're mostly solopreneurs. So they're doing it all on their own. They're holding all the hats. They're marketing, they're selling, they're producing, they're serving, they're accounting, they're doing all of this stuff, usually while either with very small children, elderly parents, managing neurodivergence, managing illness, chronic illness. Like there's loads of reasons where the people I work with don't have a regular 9-to-5 job. And so as they're navigating all this stuff and wearing all these hats, and then the expectations they have on themselves to operate like machines, like people on the internet, because they're always successful, they're always showing up, their house is always perfect, they've got a nice plant behind them when they're talking, not a dead one or whatever it is.
Mine's made of Lego.
That's how to do it. But that thought came into my head because I really struggled to keep things alive, other than my children so far, thank God. Like I'm not the greatest of green fingers, and I was watching a YouTube video today with someone with a beautiful plant, and my head went, oh, that would be lovely, I could get that and put it in the corner. And then my other part of my brain went, no you won't, you'll fuck it up and kill it. I mean, both are two true statements, absolutely. Yeah. But it was like we are so easy to criticize and shame and guilt and all those sort of negative emotions we can feel. And so what's the answer, and what do a lot of people talk about in the online world? Suppressing them. Let's just pretend those bad things, and we'll just be joy, and everything's amazing. And then that is so toxic, and the messaging that goes out as a result of that, as everyone thinks everyone's trying to live up to an unrealistic expectation, and hiding what's really going on, and nobody's really being honest. And then nobody feels that they can, because we're just locked in this this dynamic of just lying all the time online, as if that's just normal. And I don't mean like keeping our boundaries and not having to share everything online. I mean just like what we accept as acceptable, like just constantly saying how amazing things are and amazing how sales are, and that's how we sell more. And it's losing any honesty, integrity, or transparency. And I think if we were just more compassionate with ourselves and with each other, that not only would business feel nicer and feel more kinder and more comfortable, and we'd be less skating next to burnout, but it would have impact our relationships with ourselves and our families and those that are around us. So
But also our
feeling
clients
all
as
the
well,
feels, and our clients,
the people that we work with.
yeah,
It's a different
everybody.
relationship. I love working with people because it's really genuine, and they're not clients. They're not people I just do this thing and then up tick done. I've sold them a thing and off they go. The majority of people that I work with, I stay in contact with
Yeah,
after we've,
yeah.
finished an intense period or a mentoring session or
Because
coaching, whatever it
you've
is.
created a bond, you've got a connection,
Yeah.
and that connection is based on real emotions and not like
Yes.
painting over cracks or
No.
quick fixes. It's about real, genuine connection, which in the world we live right now, if there's anything that we all need more than anything, it's better connection with each other.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
I want to see a clip.
So that's our completely different businesses. Let's see now. We're to take off our sort of businessy hats in a way and just see what comes up for both of us. Like, what is it that we want to say about these clips? So yes, there are spoilers coming. Heidi's going to start. Heidi, introduce.
Oh, am I?
You are.
Okay.
Get your first clip ready.
Okay.
Press play. We're hoping that the sound works for all of these. We're just gonna have to. If it all goes badly on the sound and it's, my webcam's broken, so I've looked like I've got loads of Vaseline on the lens. Things are not perfect, but we're rolling. We're not.
Oh no, we're not perfect. We're happy to roll with it.
Yeah.
Right. So hopefully, I've got all this volume set, and I will go. It's just a 25 seconds for you.
Ooh.
You'll remember it anyway when you see it, but
I don't know what's remember. I don't know what she's going to show.
No, but you don't know, but you will remember. Right, here we go. Let's press play.
Oh no.
Hold me! Seriously, hold me!
Fear? You have a parachute?
Yes. The real question is, why don't any of you?
Ah, fantastic. What would
No particular reason I picked that one first.
That's it.
You know.
Yeah, this isn't in order of importance or of value. Why is fear having a parachute? So,
oh my gosh, I loved it because they have these characters: joy, fear, disgust, anger, sadness wasn't there, but we won't tell you why. And like I said when I introduced it, like we have this idea that joy is what we're aiming for all the time. Joy, happiness, way, life's amazing. And yet in this clip, fear is the one who saves them. Like fear, like you needed fear. You had to have fear and it was really vitally important at that point in the film that fear was there and was able to keep you safe.
Yeah, which is the entire purpose of why we feel fear in the first place. So whether that's, doing something like starting something new, like unschooling, or whether that is, sharing something on social media, or a child standing on top of a tall slide, like those feelings of fear are there. They're trying to keep you safe, even if you and your logical brain goes, "This is okay. I'm good. I've got this." The fear is there to go, wait.
Yeah.
Do we need a parachute? Yes.
Check in. So I really liked that concept, which is repeated throughout the movie. Like they're all valid feelings.
I think that's really nice, though, it's so physical. It's a physical representation. Like you say, it's repeated, but in that moment, they needed that parachute.
Yeah.
In a very
and I don't know if I've seen fear really come into to do something like that, like been used in that way. I can't remember. I might be wrong. But like that was so obvious. And
in the first one, they talk about when fear like is born, if you like, and it's when Riley is small, and we haven't got this clip because this is going back to the first film, when she's really like, she's a toddler and she's running into things and and then it's like, whoa, she suddenly realizes she might hurt herself, and she becomes, and then fear's there, and then I think disgust comes in with the broccoli.
Broccoli. Brilliant.
Love the broccoli. But it's like that like when you talked about the development at the beginning, like it is about emotional development, and it's like where these things come in, and fear is one of our first primal emotions.
Yes.
For that reason,
It's gotta
keep us safe, but it isn't always relevant. I remember, I don't know if this is quite the same, but I remember saying at one point, me and my kids did this thing. I'd read it in an article where we talked about the part of the brain that controls. It was done in a really well designed way, because I was modeling what I'd seen I was copying what I'd seen modeled in this article, and we named fear basically, and we gave it a name, and I think one was called Bob, and somebody else gave it a really long name, and then it's like, well, you can talk to Bob, and you can say, hey Bob, it's all good, I'm fine. I can logically, I know I can go down this slide, or I know I can do this. I know you're trying to keep me safe, Bob. It's all right. Thank you very much, but I'm all right. I've got this.
I like that.
That was quite, I wonder if that was the beginning. I'm just thinking Gracie then went and made her own anxiety monster book.
Yeah,
I wonder if that was the beginning of that. I wonder. Anyway, okay. Brilliant.
Show me a clip.
Right. Okay, this is going to be completely.
Is it going to make me cry?
I don't know. I mean, could I go right to the end, or am I going to pick one from? I'm just literally gonna. There is no way of knowing what might come up. Hang on. Let's go. Let's go here. Okay, I literally don't know what this is. Can you see this?
I know what it is.
Oh, I know what.
I already know what it is. I've got it here.
Oh, hang on. Oh, hang on. Wait. Something else is playing.
We should be encouraging these
Something
types
else
of relations.
Oh, it is. What's
That's
that?
me watching some cults, basically, which I know is another one of our shared loves. Right, okay.
Okay, well, this isn't working, and that's fine. Everything's fine. This is hopeless.
Whole trip is just a series of deader and deader ends. Ever since that alarm went off, nothing around here works. And I have never been inside so many jars in my life.
And the Riley we knew is gone.
And if Joy can't see that, well, then she's delusional.
Delusional? Of course I'm delusional! You know how hard it is to stay positive all the time when all you folks do is complain. Jimmy, mother, loving toaster strudel.
Oh my god, it's so good. So good. Right, hang on.
And I wonder who came up with the line, Jiminy, mother, loving toaster strudel.
I mean, we said it before, how spot on the script writing is, and how every single word has been so carefully curated to get the messaging across. And even that absolutely, for me, there was an instant reaction of just like, hey Joy, I see you.
Absolutely. I
know you. I felt like I was driving the car, like, and right. Like, and all the kids moaning about all the other emotions felt like the children in my real life, like, and me feeling that like wanting to make everything better, striving to make it, always looking, okay, that doesn't work, let's try this, and just always striving. And I think there's part of all of us, and certainly with like my audience, my clients, who are always constantly feeling like they're working to make everyone's lives better and make everything better for everyone else, and they're just like, come on then, we can do this, and then it just gets to a point where you're like, I can't do this anymore, or just it's delusion, like it says, you must be delusional, and it's like, of course I'm delusional. like it takes a level of delusion.
I mean, two things for me really stuck out, like from an unschooling perspective. when I first started unschooling and started reading about it, so about 15 years ago, and some of the really well-established blogs, and I'm not knocking them at all, have the word joy in their title. They're all about being joyful. And the whole concept was about, or is about, a large part of the concept of unschooling is about doing things that fill your child's life with opportunities and joy and loveliness and all that sort of stuff. But the reality is that you can't, it's not sustainable.
That isn't life.
And it's you can't be happy all the time. You can't be joyful all the time. There are other things that are going to come in and out of your life that are going to impact you. And so from an unschooling perspective, it's really, there's a few of us now out there who talk about self-care of parents a lot more than it used to be talked about.
I know that's something like in your membership, it's like a key part of it, like being able to look after ourselves and manage ourselves then allows us.
And especially a lot of my clients are from neurodiverse families, are neurodivergent themselves, have neurodivergent children. There are a lot of extras impacting our lives. So yes, it is lovely to have an element of joy, and it's lovely to do lovely things in our lives and with our children, but I think this just says, do you know what, like, so here joy goes a bit unjoyful, should we say. And there are other clips in Inside Out 2. There's one specifically, in fact there's two with anger, where he isn't angry, he's happy.
I think the question that leads us to think is either is it showing the complexity of our emotions, or do all those emotions have loads of little heads of emotions inside of them?
Well, yeah, there is that.
It's like just like a mirror, putting in a mirror, it just like goes on and on and on. Yeah, it's just like loads of tinier emotions. I'm up for that film. I want to see what's going on in Joy's head.
Wow.
But yeah. But yeah, I think there's a lot of lessons
existential there a little bit. I think
there's something else that crops up with me as well with that, is that toxic positivity as well, which is what like that's what you were leaning towards, like you can't be joyful all the time. And in the online world with entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, very like there's this, it's almost like, I think it stems from this idea, like this wealth prosperity, not the wealth, the prosperity gospel. So, you know, some people will preach and talk about how we're all entitled to loads of, like, it's our God-given right to have lots of money, and you know, the more wealth we've got, the more blessings we have. And then from that then leaked into like manifestation, law of attraction, and all of that stuff, which is very, very high in the online space. And so and then even just like I was saying before about social media being a place where it's embedded in toxic positivity in a sense. But for these, there's a certain part of the internet that has got so much toxic positivity that to even, you know, suggest that you might be struggling in something, people, it is not only is it not going to appeal to your audience because you've got to be perfect for people to buy from you, but also you're actually going to make things, you know, to be successful in business, you have to chant, you have to manifest, you have to meditate, you have to, you know, journal what you want, you have to do all of those sort of things. But I'm not saying anything is wrong with any of that stuff. Do the lot of it if that floats your boat. No, I'm not knocking it at all. But that is not going to make a successful business on its own. And it's actually damaging to your mental health because you're not allowing yourself to feel the emotions. It's not good for the people around you. And as far as like your business, if you're not able to face, because you're just positively writing out, you know, I will manifest $1 million every day or something, then you're not doing the actual thing you need to do your business.
Yeah, like the practical stuff.
Yeah, like there is this sense of like not allowing people to feel anything, because if you're allowed to feel, then you may invite more of that into your life. So if you feel fear, you're going to live a more fearful life. There'll be more frightening things that happen to you. And I think that's quite frankly dangerous now.
Yeah, it's like the extreme, isn't it? Saying that you can't ever have those things. There's certainly lots of like in unschooling, I remember there used to be a group where if you said the word struggle, if you were struggling with something, they'd be like, well, it's not a struggle. Gaslighting. It was a lot of gaslighting.
Ooh.
I know. And actually I think it's sort of raised, so saying you have to do this, and so for example in unschooling you have to be joyful all the time, and you have to be taking your kids out, and you have to be doing whatever you have to be doing. It raises the expectation, and then I think it has the impact of shutting a lot of people down and making a lot of families think that they can't do it
because they're not achieving
because
this
they're not achieving
dream.
And because they are feeling all those things, but they can't say that anywhere. Or express that anywhere. You can if you come and join me, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it.
You can use the word struggle.
Anyway, it needs to be an open. You can use the word struggle, and we can have open conversations about how we're feeling about things and how our children are feeling about things, because then we can work together to
and that's
how we can make things better.
Yeah, that's exactly the same in my community online. Like that's a big part of what people say. Like they can show up and not feel like they've got to put on a show immediately for people around. And I think when I hear that and hear people say they're not interested in hearing other people struggle or hearing what they're really saying is that they don't want, your discomfort is making them uncomfortable, and you're not allowed to feel anything because it's getting in my way. It's stopping me from living in my bubble. And that's, apart from anything else, that's not how you run a community, by creating those boundaries and stopping people allowing to be. So Heidi,
I'm really struggling.
Oh no,
I did take more than 3 and I don't know. I'm going to take a risk that actually you're going to do one of the others.
Okay. No
but
pressure.
I'm still left with a choice between 2, and both of them made me really laugh.
Let's do it. Let's talk less and let's do it. Because if they're, I feel like you'll walk away feeling incomplete if you haven't shared these 2. Okay, do you know what? I'm going to do this one. Let's just pause it. It's going to go again, isn't it? No, there we go. Okay. Let's share. Sound is on. Off we go. Snoring.
Huh? What the heck is that?
Woo! Problem solved.
Oh, tell me that. We should also say that was obviously a it had I think it maybe was it Spanish perhaps.
Yeah,
was that
weird.
it? Yeah,
Yeah.
It's supposed to say puberty.
Puberty.
So yeah, we should say that. It has a lot more context and makes a lot more sense. But we're guessing anyone who is watching or listening to this knows, because we announced spoilers. They'll know this is what it's all about. Really, this is when the shit goes down. So, and
it's such a great scene. Like from like I don't know if you look. I don't know how detailed you want me to go, but like from the little sleeping compartments they all have. Oh my gosh, there's so much detail in their sleeping compartments. Like Anger has like a fire extinguisher in there, and he's got one of those things in the ceiling, you know, the sprinkler systems. And
I didn't notice that. I love that. How did you notice this in the cinema?
Sorry, well, actually going through the clips, I was like, oh, look at this, look at this.
Yeah.
And Joy has a little bing bong.
Oh, that's so cute. Bing Bong lives on.
Anyway, so that's all beautifulness. That I love the details in the film, but I just thought that was hilarious. I found it really hilarious because it's followed up by the scene where there's kind of like the
other
Riley
emotions.
wakes up.
Yeah.
in
Oh,
full.
right.
I mean,
Yes.
like if you are of a certain age, you'll remember the Kevin clip where
Yes.
Kevin turns 13, and it's sort of a bit reminiscent of that. And then you've got Mum, and in her head it
Oh,
says,
her
well,
head, yeah.
welcome to the next 10 years. And it wasn't that far. It was only a few weeks ago that we had a similar incident in my house, and I was like, oh heck, this is like the next 6 years. And it
Yeah.
was just, and then it happened in the film, and I was like, oh my god, it's perfect.
You know that the
It's so
film has
good.
been written by people who really understand children
Yeah.
and parenting.
And parents.
You really
And
get
parenting.
that, especially when you go into those moments where it goes inside the
And
head.
actually, it was all. I mean, it wasn't in that clip because it wasn't quite long enough. But it, like, the idea about the mum, so Joy being delusional, and us talking about mums, doing it all and keeping it all together, like the mum does in that scene. In her head, they go, "Now remember the script. We're not
Yeah.
going to lose our shit." They don't
Yeah.
say that because
It's a
you know,
kids' film, but that's
PG.
pretty much what the mum says,
we're
doesn't
going to
it?
stay calm. And she glides on in there and goes, "It's okay, lovely. You don't smell that bad. And, and we'll just get you some deodorant." And she does all that stuff that we were talking about.
Yeah, because
You
she
know.
knows it's coming. This
She
puberty
knows.
alarm that's gone off is one that she's experienced, one that she's been waiting for since the last 13 years. As soon as you have a baby, isn't it? People are saying to you, "Oh, you wait, just you wait." And like if they're having like a toddler tantrum or something, then the language is used like, "Oh, just you wait." It's
I find it quite sad actually, because like I'm honestly going to tell you, I've got 2 teenage boys, a 17 and a 15-year-old, and it's just not been our experience. It's been really, like I said in the beginning, like adolescence happens. Yes, they grow up. Yes, they start risk taking, to a higher degree than they were before. There are just certain things that characterize developmentally adolescence. Those things happen. But
which are also captivate in how Riley wakes up and she's grumpy and smelly and confused.
And the chasm of Saar.
And
So,
then you also think what's gone on in her head, and you think no wonder she's confused, no wonder she, all of that stuff going on. But teenage years has not been
a positive teenage
experience. Really,
I've got another 2 to go, so like check back in with me.
Yeah, well, I think it's just important. So I've got a 14-year-old, and we've certainly had our moments, but more than anything, it's been I've just seen a whole new person develop and grow. You see them grow out of being somebody who is reliant, like physically reliant on you, to their own person. And my 14-year-old has had a lot of challenges to navigate, and the best part of her navigating those challenges is that she's allowing me, if that makes sense, as we're navigating them together, and it doesn't make the challenges any easier. But having a 14-year-old who is on your side, you're on the same side, it does.
And I think that's really the key thing. Like if you can ride out some of the other stuff and like be on their side, I think that's
what they need more than
what they need more than anything else.
Yeah, brilliant.
So yes, but that was so
love the
cleverly
chaos
done,
of
and the
it.
alarm and then thinking they'd got rid of it in one fell swoop, and then
then it just
wrecking
there was
ball
an element
carried
of
on
what
in.
you mentioned about we were talking about Joy as well before, because she thinks I'll just get it away, I'll just throw it away, I'll be fine, if I can't see it, it's not really an issue.
Yeah.
And then in comes the wrecking ball.
Let's get rid of all the bad stuff. chuck it over there.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. We got to face this stuff. Okay, right. So my next clip. Let's bring up my next clip. What is it? Oh, I've got to share this one because this one just I laughed out loud in this, right? Out loud, very loudly. And my friends, my daughter's friend was there, and she turned around. She was sat 2 seats away. And she turned around and she was like, "What are you laughing at?" And she just like, I was just cringe. So this does really make just tickle me. The recording's okay. Right, let's go.
Wait, what was that? What was what? We got a look. What? You're paranoid. I never miss a look. She's hiding something. But what? What is she doing?
She's looking at our look.
No, it's much more than that. She looks the same to me. Overlay and compare. Riley then, Riley now, Riley then, Riley now.
Oh, it's so obvious.
Oh, it's playing again. Stop sharing. Oh, it's playing again.
What was what?
I said this is the first time
Repeat,
I've done a
repeat,
review one.
repeat.
Just can't cope with all the pressing buttons.
What was it then that made you
I just
laugh so
find
much?
that so relatable, basically, like how we can be and from a content point of view, like constantly overthinking. You might not have someone's face in front of you, but you're constantly overthinking what other people might think about you, what other people are going to say about you. What things that are like potential secrets you don't know about, and just all these things can go right in your head. All this, potential catastrophizing maybe, and often, I mean, in this case, there was a secret, but it doesn't all like sometimes that's just in your head. And one of my clients, it's just fear. Maybe these other ones are fear keeping you safe. A client of mine used to say, write everything down. And then work out what's data and what's drama, like what is actual fact here and what is just your perception of things, which may be true, but until it's an actual fact, it's just a perception. It's just a story, and it doesn't mean that it's not saying it's not valuable, and it's not saying you're not right to think it, but it is just a story. But it's like our brains are in overdrive, and this sort of material version of it, this manifestation of it through the character of disgust. I just realised I forgot to put my phone in. Hope that's better.
Yes.
Through the character of disgust, like really sort of, hold on one moment. Oh no, look, the eyes are like this, like that, like this, like, and it just tickled me. But it was the relatability of just that. Did I say something wrong? Did they think this? Are they thinking that? Are they judging me on this? What did that look mean? Or is their eyebrow? And it's so subconscious and so quick that these things run through our head. And then so to have it animated in such a way was just a joy.
It was brilliant, and it was the accuracy of it, like the accuracy of it was just so relatable. Like, well, maybe it's just me. But
But that I think is one of the things we think, is it just me? Is that me?
Yeah.
And then I watched that and went, oh my God, it's obviously
and
other
then, like
people.
you say, like that real time play through of what's going on in Riley's head and then what's going on in her friend's head, like all at the same time.
Yes.
And it was just so perfectly done, and just so accurate. It was just so. That's what made it. funny.
No wonder we can find ourselves in situations like choices that we're making in life, and we question ourselves and we question what other people will think. And obviously, evolutionary wise, we're wired this way. Like, we need to know what other people are thinking about us. Being excluded from groups is like a death sentence.
That visual feedback as well. Like that's we're supposed to do that.
Eye to eye, it's what our brains are designed to do. What disgust is, she's very busy. She knows what she's doing. Okay, go on then, Heidi.
Okay, do you know, I'm just zooming through the clip. This is a bit of a strange visually. And I'm gonna choose this one, and then I'm gonna hope you do.
Okay.
Like,
I think my next one is the one I hope you.
Right.
Stopping one.
Oh, I got to select the screen, otherwise it doesn't work. Here you go.
Anxiety, stop! You don't get to choose who Riley is. Anxiety? You need to let her go.
Oh, that's it. Ooh, sorry, don't know where it's going. On to the next one. Stop it. There we go.
Right, well, I gotta ask you, why that scene?
Oh my God, I couldn't breathe.
I
And I
couldn't.
was really aware that I couldn't breathe. I was just like, it was just so well done, and it was just, I mean, the emotion in it. And the fact that Joy, here's the thing, Joy, anxiety was going so fast that Joy was able to walk through her. We haven't talked about anxiety yet. We've done
No,
like,
isn't that interesting?
I know.
We haven't
We've
even
done, like,
talked about it. The whole film is about anxiety.
I know, and we haven't talked about anxiety yet. And that's like anxiety in, you know,
nutshell.
a nutshell. Like, but right at the end, that's like when she's really going for it. Yeah, it was so well done. But when it was so emotional, and when Joy says, you don't get to choose who Riley is anymore, or you don't get to choose who Riley is, I think Joy was also talking to herself. I think it was a moment. I think she had a moment. Like, this isn't about anyone.
No.
Not about you having the control boards.
Because that was that gave me goosebumps. That was from that was the big story as well in Inside Out 1, was that she didn't want sadness to infect, and ruin Joy's life. You're not allowed to feel sad. And so she's not saying to anxiety at this point, she said, you're not getting to choose who she is. It's not defined by one. And I think there's something in that as well, and this was an important distinction that I still, language-wise, I still fall into it, but I try and be more conscious. I am not happy or sad or anxious or excited. I feel those things, but they are not my actual person. I am not those emotions.
I think it's Irish. They don't say I am sad or I am happy. They say I am feeling.
There's a few. Like, I've seen a few
in original Irish,
and I think our Gaelic,
yes,
if it's like that, it might be the same in Welsh. I don't know. I can't. There's often quite a few similarities, but I know there are languages that do, and it really gets you to stop and think, oh, that's a really interesting way. The way language can form our thoughts about something, the way we can attach meaning to something based on the language that we use implicitly, because that's just what we've been handed. So we've been handed this idea that if we are anxious, we are anxious. I, Lisa Barry, am anxious. I am an anxious person. I am anxious. Anxiety is me. Anxiety holds the control panel, apparently, if I say that. But if I say I'm feeling a bit anxious today, or I'm feeling anxiety, it's a whole different dynamic that you can lean into, and it can shape the way you think about anxiety or joy.
At the beginning of the film, so talking about how this was sort of the whole narrative of Inside Out, that Joy came to realize how important these other emotions are in Riley's life, and she sort of embraces sadness as part of that at the beginning of the movie, when she says and sadness says, oh, can I come? I'm ready to go. I can't remember what the place is called, but they go to this place where they
it's where they put
the memories adrift, and they become core beliefs,
and that develops into values, and that develops into your core, who you are.
And Joy says to her, of course you can come. Where you go, where I go, you go. And it's like a little, I thought that was like a little herald back to,
Yeah.
yes, we're
We're a
together in
team.
this. You know,
Yeah.
we're a team now.
Yeah, she's not afraid of her infecting any
No.
of the emotions of the sadness.
No, no.
What I loved about another line that was said in that is, to say you can let her go or let her go, let go, because it's that feeling when anxiety really has hold, you do feel like you're tightly wound to something. And the idea, and it, you know, with the imagery with her hand, anxiety's hand on the control panel, and it's like she's stuck, she's frozen. And I know that feeling, and I've seen it in my children, I've seen it in other people I love, where there is a literal freeze. And that is that fight, flight, freeze, for, you know, that whole concept played out in a animation. But it is that she is frozen.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And also, like, she needed someone, so in this case Joy, to come in and actually help.
And
there
say
needed
you
to
can
be
let her
a
go.
thing that comes in
Yeah,
and says let
that's
go.
a really
And
good
in the
point.
middle of it, even though anxiety is going so fast that she's, you know, not even a solid thing anymore, when Joy's speaking to her, her eyes move sideways. It's like there's this little recognition that I am here.
Yeah.
I do need help. And I see that certainly in one of my children in particular, that when they are feeling anxious, there's so much going on that they are in fight and flight. But there's this little bit of them that's like, don't leave me, don't go
And from
away,
the
even though
outside-
their whole body is like pushing me away, or
Yeah.
they're screaming and all that sort of stuff. There's that thing that's like, no, don't actually. There's like they're still clinging
need
on to my
Yeah.
sleeve, even if their words are saying one thing and something, you know, all this other stuff's going on. They're still clinging on. You know, there's that little bit that's like, I'm still here, and I need you. I need you to help me. They do something else in the film that's really very useful, and I know well used amongst people who have anxiety attacks, because this is actually a representation of Riley having an anxiety attack. And they do it really well in the film. I mean, we should just play the whole film and done a commentary while we watched it. I mean, it's going to be long enough. It's only 90 minutes long.
That's such a good point. We should have just held. Wait till it comes. Maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe we'll wait till it comes out, like on Netflix or Disney or something, and we'll hold a watch party, and then we'll just stop it whenever we want to go. Oh my god, this is so good.
Actually, could be quite long. You've got another clip.
Yes, I have. I've got another
Okay.
clip. Right. Oh, I'm playing the wrong one now. Hang on. All of these. Right, I don't know now whether this is going to be the right one for you. Hang on.
It'll be the right one for you, and that's
It'll
fine.
be the right one for
I've made
me.
my choices.
I think this the right one? It says emotional scene on him. I'm like, which one is this? Is this the right one?
Another one.
Is it the right emotional scene? I'm slightly nervous it's the same one that you've just had, but I'm going to play it. And then, do you know what? I don't know if this is the right one that I want to play. But I'm just going to play it, and we're going to accept that whatever is played is what needs to be played, and that be it. And then you can maybe tell me what the other one is if it wasn't that. Right, okay. It's kind of the same clip, but it's kind of later, I think. Oh, hang on, I need tips. Right, me, picture me. Oh, sobbing. Such a tiny clip, I know.
I thought they were going to show the bit that I was just talking about, but that's really good as well. I mean, that's
really hard to get.
So that scene follows on from the one that I just played.
Hang on, what's it playing now? What's it?
Oh, this is afterwards when this is when Joy needs her.
Oh, she needs Joy.
Riley needs you.
Joy. She needs Joy again.
Yeah, and all the sparkles going. Riley needs you.
Okay, so I don't know if that was the one you wanted. I don't even know if I've had.
I can't even remember anymore. So many, I don't know.
For
Yes,
me,
that's a great one.
Okay. So for me, and I've got to say this so that it's captured. Carmen Makepeace, another one of my SOS clients who has been helping my daughter who is having a lot of chest pains due to long COVID and other issues that she's had. And something she said to her was, she said, so this is for anybody, these are Carmen's words, I'm sure she won't mind me repeating them. She said to Ira, if you have the pain that you're feeling, do you want to put it in a box and put it in a corner and forget about it because it's horrible and it's irritating and you want to get rid of it? I was like, yeah, I definitely want to do that. And she said, well, what if you consider that pain is a part of you and it's trying to tell you something? So if you put it in a box and put it in the corner and say that you just want to ignore it and you never want to see it or speak to it again, then you are ignoring a part of yourself. And she said, is there a possibility that you could take that out? And it's like, she's talking to a 14-year-old here, so she's navigating this conversation, and she's saying, could you give your whole self a hug and give yourself some love? And I really felt, I came out, I was like, oh my God, Carmen, you've got to watch this. This is the representation of what you said to Ira. Yeah. And I said to her when we were walking back, I was like, that's exactly what Carmen was saying to you. I'm just gonna put the light on, it's got darker since we've been talking. That's what she, it was this sense of just all of it, just that sense of self, that sense of just hugging yourself on the inside and accepting exactly who you are, exactly how you are. Pain, anxiety, sadness, fear, frustration, good hockey player or miss the goal, whatever it is, just full acceptance and compassion for yourself. And that I was like, I was gone. I was just gone.
Yeah, I mean, one of the sort of core ideas in unschooling is really that idea of radical acceptance. Now we use it because I'm predominantly working with families who are looking at how to home educate their children. So it's predominantly about us radically accepting our children, but you can't. It always brings into question that, well, if I'm accepting those parts of my children that maybe are less attractive than others,
more challenging to navigate,
like it really raises in ourselves, like we see ourselves in that mirror. And so like having compassion on ourselves, so what I often see in my work is once parents start to have compassion or demonstrate compassion with their children, and things like grace with their children and forgiveness and unconditional love, and all wrapped up in this radical acceptance, it kind of like boomerangs back onto, actually, hang on a minute, if I can accept those things about my children, then maybe there are parts of me that, instead of putting in a box and shoving over there, maybe we could bring them in and say, actually, this is who I am, which is why we talk about there being a full spectrum of emotions, and it's okay to feel anger, for example. And so bringing, what they do here is, again, bringing all those emotions together and saying, this is who Riley is at this point. These are her beliefs, and you can be all those things sort of simultaneously, which is quite hard to handle, but that's our human experience.
Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why I don't like this system in schools where children come in the morning and they're asked how they're feeling today. Well, right now I'm tickety-boo, thank you, but in a minute I'm probably going to sit down next to someone who's going to poke me, and then I'm not feeling so great.
Yeah, that's such a good point.
We're constantly, some of us more so than others, on an emotional roller coaster. Yeah. I'm quite a roller coastery person.
Yeah, when somebody asks you how you're feeling
my
today.
husband's quite stable, very little fluctuation. Me, on the other hand, I'm like all over the different place. But
So relatable.
yeah, and
I've always been like that. Like that is,
yeah, I have as well.
whether it's
Yeah,
neurodivergence, whether it's,
puberty,
feminine energy, whether, hormones stuff.
menopause.
Yeah, and then there's
All of
that
that.
to throw into the mix that comes up. Like I've always had this sort of sense, and I've often felt like there's something wrong with me for that. So it's that I love the term radical acceptance. I think that's so powerful. And I know one of the things in business is everybody's always striving. We're always like, what's the next goal? What's the next thing? What's our next sales target? Or sometimes it's all very well to say like, oh, we shouldn't always strive, but for some of the business owners I work with, the striving is right. Okay, this month I've got to earn this month because I've got to pay these bills, and I've got to, whether it's a necessity bills or it's to do with like providing for your kids, like doing nice things with them, whatever it is. Like it's that striving isn't a nice to have, it's a must have, must do. These things have, so there is that sense of urgency, and it's not to dismiss that, but it's like that we never arrive, because even when you do pay that bill, or you do that thing, or you tick that box, there's something else, and if there isn't, you put it there. Yeah, because there's always that sense of like needing to move forward.
It's quite a skill
stopping
to remove that from your life, or at least to do like an audit. Okay, what actually do I need to do? What do I have to do? And to, I was going to say, reduce that sense of striving, or at least put it into the context of what's necessary
in that moment, which is like that, holding that moment, the radical acceptance for where we are, and then being able to go, okay, what's the next step? Sometimes the next step is having a bubble bath, or switching off, or deleting social media for a week off your phone, or whatever that is. It isn't always about that next step, isn't always about striving to be bigger or better or more. It can be about accepting and acknowledging where we are, and that's something that I think possibly in the capitalist consumerism culture that we live in, that's not something that is widely celebrated or enjoyed.
No, it's quite countercultural, that idea. I think that you can just be happy or content, maybe, in this moment,
content is
with the things that are happening in this moment.
It's a beautiful film that has a lot of messages for homeschoolers, business owners, parents, non-parents, and everything in between. I think, like you said at the beginning,
absolutely,
emotional development.
And we haven't given away so much that you would you'd go and you'd still see a whole bunch of stuff.
There's so many clips. The clip of anxiety showing up at the beginning, I'm sure she'll bring that one. When anxiety comes out, she's got loads of bags. She's got loads of bags. Like anxiety brings
moving in.
Yeah,
and we didn't even show the other three new.
No, there's a whole
three new characters and a
I mean, just if you haven't seen it, if you've watched all of this and you haven't seen it, then you've obviously got to see it. And if you have seen it, just the immediate it comes out and it's available, watch it again and again and again, because that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm guessing Heidi's going to do. It's going to go down as one of my all-time favourite films, without a shadow of a doubt.
Brilliant.
And thank you so much, Heidi, for sharing it with me.
Oh my gosh, you're so excited. We'll have to do
yes, we'll have to do this. Well, we've also discovered that we both like cults. That's a weird thing to say. We like cults.
It's
a weird thing.
And some people have had their reactions when I say that.
Yeah, people don't really understand, so maybe we should help people to understand.
It was quite interesting that we discovered that.
It was like she was like, "Oh my god, that's my guilty secret." I was like, "Oh my god,
it's not anymore, is it?"
No, it's like, we've let the secret out of the bag. Okay, so Heidi, where can people find you? What do you want people to know? Like, where do you want people to go? What can they buy from you?
Oh gosh, that's a lot. Well, sounds like a lot. That's a lot of questions. I'm never gonna.
You can answer whichever one you choose.
Okay, Facebook is the best place to find me. I've got a Facebook page, Live, Play, Learn, Unschooling Support. I'll say that again because my word didn't come out properly. Live, Play, Learn, Unschooling Support.
I heard that there at that time.
Yes,
this is true.
And I put everything I everything I do up there.
And then you've
I
got your
have a
membership.
I do. My membership is is definitely my love. Spending as long as people want. So it's a pay-as-you-go membership, month by month. And we get together once a week for those that are able to do that, and we do various things, social meets. It's all online. Social meets. I obviously do some unschooling coaching where you can come and ask me your
I think it's
questions.
really useful because you've got children of such wide age ranges as well. Like it's really like useful.
And I've really done it all, most of it. I mean, I'm sure there's more, but I have quite a varied experience. I'm for 4 children and always having unschooled. There isn't much that don't think I've come across, or being involved in the community that I haven't been aware of that other families have had to navigate either. Yeah, so I do that, and there's a webinar every month as well. But there's also lots going on for people that aren't able to access that. So there's I invite people to come and do a little podcast, sharing some self-care techniques, ones that you can actually apply as a parent with your children 24/7.
So you don't have to go and meditate.
It's not, I'm not going to recommend, no, you're not going to, I'm not going to say book a holiday or anything like that. Things you can take into your
to keep yourself regulated.
Yeah, to keep yourself regulated. Yeah, so that's my favorite thing. We have a little chat group as well for the members, and I think the biggest really get to know each other and sort of really hold each other and navigate these things.
You don't have a school community when you're unschooling, do you? You don't have you don't have that school gates. You don't have the same. You might not have the same support, and depending on where you live and what's available to you, like having that solid secure support network, I think is really important. And what's even more important is that in Heidi's unschooling group, you actually can feel all your emotions and nobody's going to tell you off.
And so like you were saying about, a lot of the people there have got, like I said, a lot of the families I work with have got neurodivergent children. A lot of them have children who aren't at this point ready to leave the house. And so like having this space online together has been really vitally important for some of the families, because they aren't able to physically go out and meet other people either. And for anyone who has neurodivergent children knows it's not always easy to find other people that radically accept
yes that's
reality.
That's the line, isn't it?
So that's my phone
acceptance sometimes too. I hear you loud and clear. Okay, so an absolute joy. Thank you so much for sharing this with me. An absolute joy and sadness and anxiety and fear, and it's been all of it. It's been all, and the others that we didn't
mention, so they can be a surprise when you do go, because we haven't told you everything.
Exactly. Right. Okay. Oh my God. And then I wanted to say something else about the film, but I will stop now. Right. Loads of love. Take care.